Well, this is the way I hear it with Arlington Jones, and I am so excited to have my friend, the bassist and artist extraordinaire, Nate Phillips, with me today. Thank you, Nate, for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. Those are kind words to say about me. I appreciate that. And, you are one of my idols, man. I'm so happy to be here with you, and I'm so happy to have spent all the years playing with you. So anything you want from me, all you have to do is ask, and hey, I'll be there.
Well, I really appreciate that, man, and I feel the same about you. Before you came on, I was even thinking about the very first time we met, and I know sometimes with good friends like yourself, I don't remember because I feel like once we met, we got locked in musically, and then we just work. And I think back, I don't even think about the first time. But do you remember the first time that we met?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe it was the the jazz attack thing or the guitars and saxes thing. Maybe it was that.
Okay, yeah, one of the jazz tours. Yes,
Yes, yes,
I agree. I just remember that I think the band. I know it was our good friend Dwight Seals on guitar,
yes,
and I believe the late great Ricky Lawson on drum.
yeah, yes, yes, indeed. And
Yes,
I forget who were the principal members. It might have been was it Gerald?
it could
Oh,
have been Gerald Albright, Kirk Whalum, maybe.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay, and it might have been. Well, I don't know if it was the first one, but I know Tim Bowman
Tim
was on
Bowman.
one of them
That's
with
right.
us.
Yes,
Yeah, and it could have been Jeff Gullip, actually.
it could have been Jeff Golub too.
Another late great Jeff Gullip guitar player. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But those are some good times, man. So like I said, I don't even remember the first time. I just know that I remember thinking, man, these cats are funky. And then you in particular, because we on to talk about you, man. I was just like every show and the things you were doing, I was just like, man, I became so thankful to be playing the tour. And then as we became really good friends, I was just like, Nate Phillips is my friend. I can call him. We're gonna work together. I'd already started making plans of, doing my record and you all played on my record. But yeah, I just remember I was just so excited. And every time we played, man, it was just a lot of
It was a lot of fun, and it was very musical, and I learned a lot by playing with all you great players. I always put you guys on a whole nother level than me. I'm mainly there on stage as a fan. I'm trying to play, but I'm listening to you guys and just enjoying it. Sometimes I lose my spot because I'm enjoying you guys so much. So it's very cool.
yeah. But man, I just take that to your humbleness because as we're coming on today, man, I really, it's so amazing to me because some of the things that you've done in the music business have one become staples for all bass players that really play. If you talking about you trying to play some soul or funk, the work that you've done, everyone that I have met and talked to that is a serious bass player, they've had to come through Nate Phillips. So I want to talk about that. Well, I know I'm jumping ahead, but your work with your band, Pleasure and everything, and that great song that you wrote, Glide. Um, so we'll get to that. Well, let's just start back at the beginning, man, because I really want to know about um, I know you're born and raised Portland, Oregon. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, you coming up in Portland and how that was and how you got to be playing music.
Well, a long time ago, far, far away. No, just kidding. Well, the growing up in Portland, it was interesting because my mother and my father, they migrated from the South. Portland was a shipping port, and
Mm-hmm.
in the early 1950s, they were offering jobs for people to come up and work in the shipyards. The
Hmm.
shipyards were places where they built ships, navy ships, and vessels and things like that. Because Portland has two rivers and they join together: the Columbia River in the north and the Willamette River, which runs right through the center of the city. So there were job opportunities, and my mom and my father separately happened to migrate up there, and they worked in the shipyards, painting ships, and he was helping build them and all that kind of thing. So they connected, um, and we all came about.
Yes.
And so we weren't rich, so we had to do what we had to do to survive. So even as a young kid, like 8 or 9 years old, we had to pick berries and pick beans in the fields. So we
Okay.
would get up in the 3:30 in the morning and
Yeah.
get on the school bus and go
Wow.
out in the early morning, drive an hour and a half out to the fields and pick berries and beans to collect money for school clothes. So that's what we
Mm.
did. We had to
Okay.
do what we had to do. So everybody had to do it. I mean, just because I was young didn't mean I got to stay at home. I had to get out there, pick those berries, man, beans and stuff, dealing with all the elements out there, freezing cold, and then the hot weather and during lunchtime came around, and then
Yes.
sweltering towards the end of the day. So what helped me was that the fact that if I could afford a small transistor radio. So I got a little radio with one mono thing with one little earpiece on it, little cord. And so what helped me get through these times of picking berries and stuff, I would listen to music. That's all I did.
Mm.
So the AM radio back then was so eclectic. It played all kinds of stuff. You would hear James Brown, you would hear Aretha, you would hear Wilson Pickett, then you would hear people like the Rolling Stones, and you hear the Mamas and the Papas, and then you hear the Turtles and all these different kind of bands. So it was all combined. You'd hear that within a 2 hour period. So I'm just absorbing it all, and I decided I really love music, and as years went by, a lot of my friends in the neighborhood, they felt the same way. They love music. We all just get together and make fake guitars out of cardboards and put fake strings on them, nylon strings on them, and just kind of mess around trying to fake playing to records, right? We were up there in the
Okay.
garage playing, like, no noises coming out, but we're playing, jamming
Yeah.
James Brown, yeah, lick and stick, all that stuff. We were
Okay.
like doing all this. It was a lot of fun. And so our parents noticed that that's what we did a lot of the time. We spend hours out there. So we got up enough nerve to ask them, hey, can I have a guitar?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so my dad went to this place called G.I. Joe's. There's a store in Portland, and he bought me an electric guitar. It was a 6 string. And my
Wow. Okay.
my, my good buddy, Doug Lewis, his dad bought him a guitar. And so a few of the other neighbors and friends, they got guitars. So we were all sitting there with the guitars, all electric guitars. We're like, oh, wow, someone needs to play bass here.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I traded mine in and got a bass. I
Wow.
got
Wow.
an Aria bass, yes. And so that was the beginning of it. I think I was like 12 years old or something like that. So
Okay.
we really
Okay.
weren't. I mean, we thought we were doing something, but we really weren't making music at that time. We were just kind of just trying to learn. Um, but as time went on, we gravitated. We did a show at a church, and we played some of our favorite songs that we liked. I think it might have been some Sly and Family Stone, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, that was our first show, and then we really decided, okay, let's just try to get serious about this, and gravitated, and we moved on and kept listening to records and playing to our favorite friends. I'm taking bass parts off of records, and all my friends were doing the same thing. The drummer friend of mine, he's doing the same thing. So we wound up playing in this. Had this thing. We started sounding kind of okay, not great, but we
Yeah.
started sounding okay. And as time moved on, we developed a certain sound, and we started getting a little bit better. This is like 4 or 5 years later. I was around maybe 15 then, and we started a group called the Franchise. And the Franchise
Okay.
consisted of me and Bruce Carter, the late Bruce Carter, the drummer,
Okay.
who was my brother too. Love him dearly. Marlon McLean was on guitar, and Doug Lewis.
Okay.
And we started a group. And
Okay.
so we would play in the park and play for free. Just go set up in the park with a shopping cart full of guitars and amps and drums. We go set up and just play. And now there was another group at the same time called the Soul Masters. It was the guys were older, and they noticed us, and so they decided they wanted to ask us to be in their band, so we kind of combined forces. And so at
Mm.
that point, we changed the name to The Pleasure, and
Wow.
kept going from there. Our first show was actually at our first professional show was with Roberta Flack at I think it was called the Paramount Theater. That was our
Mm.
first outing, and
Wow. So how
yeah,
long had y'all been really going before you got the Roberta Flack um, that
yeah,
show?
we wound up playing a lot of the there we were still underage, and so there were a few clubs that would let us go in and play. We kind of honed our craft at this place called the Upstairs Lounge, Upstairs Downstairs Lounge,
Hmm.
two levels, but that was the name of it. And what was interesting about that was that everybody who came through town would always wind up at our place. They'd come to see us play, all the great
Okay.
artists. And
Okay.
so we we playing, and next thing you know, someone would walk in with their horn. So who was that? So, oh, that's Grover Washington. He's Grover Washington this here. So he would walk in and set up, pull out his horn and just start playing with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all these, him and along with a lot of other Lakeside would show up, Ohio players. Always got the Whispers, a lot of this. They would come in and hang out, and they just enjoy what we did. And we were still young. We were just kind of going for it. And so,
Okay. So y'all were teenagers at that time. You said about
oh yeah,
15, 16.
yeah, yeah. And,
Okay.
and then what happened after that was we decided to make a little tape, and Grover came to town one the following year or maybe the year after that, and we said we want to try to get a deal, and Grover
Okay.
said, I really can't help you because I love the way you guys sound, but I'm not in the position to help you right now. But I do know of a person who could help you. His name is Wayne Henderson. He plays with a group called Crusaders. He's a trombone player.
Hmm.
He said, I'll call him. And so he called him. And it just so happens that the Crusaders were coming to town a few months later. So we waited for them to come to town. And when we went to their sound check and we took the tape in
Hmm.
and said, Mr. Henderson, could you listen to our tape? He said, oh, yeah, I've heard of you guys. Grover told me about you. So he took the tape,
Mm.
he listened to it, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a week later or something, he called us and said, I like what I'm hearing. And he flew back into town. He took us to the studio and recorded a demo.
Mm.
And it sounded pretty good. I mean, I think I sounded better back then than I do now. So weird. I think probably I listened to the tape and I listened to the demo and said, wow, man, I was playing, I was okay back then.
I
But
hear you, but I don't believe it. But I understand what you're saying.
I felt that way. Well, I mean, actually, I had at that point I had bought a red hollow body bass, and
Okay.
it had a certain sound. It made me play a certain way, and I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so he took the tape, and he decided to bring us down to L.A. And we wound up doing a few showcases, the Whiskey a
Mm.
Go, boxing, things like that. And we did one showcase where he invited all of the executives to hear us in search of a
Wow.
deal. So
Wow.
all these guys were there, and we did our show in Arlington. It was not good.
Really?
Oh boy, it was terrible. It was a terrible show.
Okay. Okay.
And Wayne came backstage. He was upset. Man, what happened, you guys? What happened? He got 8 guys sitting there on the table with our heads down because we knew the performance was not that good.
Okay.
And he said, "Let me go out here and see if I can see what I can do." So he went back out there and he brought back this guy. His name was Ralph Caffel. He was the president of Fantasy Records.
Mm.
And Ralph, first thing Ralph said was, "Man, I thought you guys sounded great. Man, let's
Mm.
do some business." And so
Mm.
we signed with Fantasy, and
Wow.
that and led to our first record, "Dust Yourself Off" on Fantasy,
Wow. Wow.
and that was the
That's
beginning of it
amazing.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love it. So I have one question before we move on, and I was thinking about even youngsters, is like, did y'all take lessons or how did you learn how to play? Because I hear you that you all were all friends coming up, kind of messing around. Did you just kept listening to records and just kind of figuring it out, or did any of you have teacher or how did you get into like really being able to play your instrument?
Well, fortunately, the group that we combined with, which was called the Soul Masters, those guys were
Hmm.
older, and
Okay.
they were teachers. I mean, these guys were brilliant.
Gotcha.
They schooled, educated. I mean, college graduates, things like that.
Yes.
And so they kind of took us under their wing. I mean, these guys
Gotcha.
were writing. They were writing orchestration charts, man.
Yeah.
They knew it all. They knew it all. So they
Yes.
a lot with theory, and
Yes.
the most important thing they taught us was how to listen to music.
Yeah.
There's one way to
Yeah.
listen to music, then there's another way when you're really trying to critique it. They would put
Right.
on a part on a record, say for instance like Miles Davis, in concert or something, and they would play like 2 bars of something. Say, oh, listen to that right there.
Yeah.
That's what. Listen to the details of how that is happening, why that's happening, the way it's happening. So
Yes.
we took that to heart and we took it to ears too. We made sure that we learned how to listen. So that
Yeah.
really helped us a lot. And of course, they schooled us in trying to get us to learn how to read and all that stuff too.
Okay.
But it was
Okay.
basically this is school of the streets. A
Yes.
lot
Yeah.
of listening together with those guys, listening to music. They would put on Miles, they would put on Coltrane, they would put on all these other guys, but then they would put on the Meters, they would put on, Wilson Pickett, all these things, different styles of music, and have us listen to it. Dionne Warwick, the whole thing. And
Yes.
we covered a lot of it. And so, really, for me, I kind of learned through working with people who were better than me, and I
Yes.
always kind of, I think I still do that to this day. I listen to people who, the people who we work with now, who we work
Yeah.
with now. A lot of great acts. I mean, I learned from you too. When you bring in charts, man, I'm looking at, yeah, okay, this is the real deal.
He's like, what is this? What is this mess?
So funny. I mean, I wound up doing sessions too for a while.
Yeah.
As time went on, and I did okay. But backing up to as kids, man, we just kind of just grew up listening to records, man. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I have when you that first record that you did with Fantasy Records, and I hesitate to even say this, but I have a point for it, is like what were you all thinking as far as were you worried about genre or style that you were gonna be in? Like, did you see it as a soul record, a jazz record, a funk fusion, or did y'all worry about that, or were you just like, we just making music?
We were just so happy to be in the studio, and we were
Yeah.
so happy that to be working with Wayne. Wayne was really pretty much the cheerleader of the band. Uh,
Okay.
he was really enthusiastic about the band, and whatever we brought to him, he just said yes. He was a yes guy.
Cool. Okay.
He didn't try to micromanage us at all. He just wanted to make sure whatever we decided to do, that would he get the best out of it. And, not to say that it wasn't easy all the time. Um, we had situations where, when a producer is involved, then he gets the last say on a lot of things. He's the one
Yeah.
that said, "Okay, this is things is going," and so a lot of things that, certain things on the record we look at and say, we wouldn't have done it that way. But
Okay.
it was just part of being professional and being in this. That's where we were at the moment.
Okay.
So there were some rough times. We had some difficulties with trying to find the right people to play the right parts and things like that. Wayne was not satisfied with some of the things that were going down, so Wayne brought in other people to play on that record, and that made
Oh,
it difficult because we had, okay, so what do we do?
yeah.
Uh, you know, we have a band here, all for one, one for all, but he doesn't like the way this person is playing, so
Mm.
we had to make some tough decisions. So, but hey,
Okay.
overall it worked out, and we were happy to be there. And as time progressed, you'll notice how the band became more proficient in the studio and more in tune with making better productions and things like that. We wound up being on our own after a while.
Okay.
So
Okay. Were you all able to, did you all write a lot for the first record? Were you allowed to?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. In fact,
That's great.
all of our stuff was all original material, except for, well, we had a single that was released. That was Wayne's idea.
Okay.
The first record, there was a song called "Midnight at the Oasis" that he just loved, and he wanted us to do a version of that. And
Okay.
so we laid it down, and hey, I heard it being played on the American Bandstand, so I couldn't complain.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't complain. And Wayne, like I said, Wayne was a beautiful guy, man. I love him dearly. He was like a father figure to a lot of us. And what's interesting is he got a lot of flack too. He
Okay.
put on the album on the liner notes, "Pleasure, the greatest band on earth." That's what he said.
Wow.
Now we didn't know. I mean, we were, of course, we're not really thinking that about ourselves. But when he put that on there and people started reading that, critics just went nuts.
Yes. Yes.
So we
Yeah.
had to take the heat for that, right?
I got you. But it
And
wasn't even y'all's doing, but I understand.
it wasn't our doing, but he did. But he believed in us on that level,
Yeah. Yeah.
bless his heart, man. He stayed with us as long as we could work together.
Okay. That was a big, I mean, one for him to be Jazz Crusaders and all of what he was to even say that and kind of put that stamp of approval. To me, that's how I see it as being like that was huge.
Yeah, it was, and it gave us confidence too. I mean, he really believed in the band, and
Yeah.
he put a lot into it. And he was just starting his production company called At Home Productions, and that
Okay.
entailed, and it was us, it was Side Effect, it was Ronnie Laws,
Okay.
uh, Ronnie Laws, always there, Ronnie Laws,
Okay.
uh, and so he was actually gravitating to being more on the producer side of things as opposed to being a traveling musician. So that caused a lot of friction too with him and the Crusaders.
Mm.
So that's a whole nother story.
Okay. Okay.
It worked out. It
Yes.
worked.
Okay. Okay. So was he with you all for because before we get to I know it's the fifth record that Glide is on. Is that right?
Yeah, I think
Is
it's
what I read. Is that right?
Joy. Hmm, uh, uh,
You like me to remember them all.
we did Duchess of Fall, Except
Hmm.
Suits, Joyous, Get to the Feeling. Yes, yes. And then
Yeah.
Future Now. Yes.
Okay. So was he with you all even up to all those? Yeah, the all those records up to the fifth one. Was he with you all the whole time? Still
Yeah,
producing?
yes, he produced all those records with us, and he was the cheerleader the whole all the way through, and he brought in some great people to help us out too along the way.
Okay.
It got to the point to where we would have huge orchestras come in and play behind on some of the songs. It was really really great. Um,
Okay.
Eventually, it got to the point where we felt that it was time for us to be able to produce our own records, and that was tough because I love
Gotcha.
Wayne
Yes.
dearly, and so
Hmm.
but he graciously let us go ahead and do our thing, and
Okay.
that next record we did was Future Now.
Okay. So that's the one that you all produced yourself
Yes,
without him. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
And so that ended up um from what I've read is that
Uh oh.
Glide was the biggest song. I mean, I know that it charted um high and was the biggest song, but that's interesting because you're saying that was the yeah, I guess the transition of you all you kind of went on your own and produced your own,
Hmm.
record.
Yeah, that was a transition, and we always in the back of our minds we after the first few records we said we could probably do this,
Hmm.
we do this because once we started made the first couple of records we were a lot more polished in terms of rehearsing and bringing in songs that were more finished and
Hmm.
ready for recording. Um, yeah, and it just it worked out. We did the did Future Now. We were still at Fantasy. They were gracious enough. This is really cool. They were gracious enough to give us free studio time in their studio. So we blocked out like 3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
and they didn't charge us at all. So
Wow.
we
It's
we
amazing.
took, we took our time in making Future Now, and we picked a single, which is the title track of the record, and did all the remixes for that, and let's see what we can do. So we sent it out to the DJs. Back then, you would send it out to the DJs and get their opinions on it, and so they would make their suggestions for editing and cut out this part, maybe this. So we did all the things that we were supposed to do to get it ready, and so that came out first, and then the album came out. And so what happened after that was really interesting. Everybody would come back and say, all the DJs and everybody else say, well, we love the single, but there's this one song that everyone seems to be gravitating to, and they say it's called Glide. And so now for me, I didn't think a whole lot of it because I always worked as a team player. So when they said Glide, I was like, okay, this is great. This, then they said they wanted to be a single.
Yeah.
So we went back in and did a 12-inch on that and then released that as a single, and it kind of took off for us. It was very cool.
Okay. Okay. And I think you told me even more specific story that it was played um for someone. I was gonna let you say it. Uh, is that right? And that person was like, "This needs to be single."
Yeah, yeah,
Do you want
yeah.
to tell us who that was that
Well,
listened to it?
well, I don't know. There was more than one person. I put it
Oh,
this way.
okay. Okay.
There was
Well,
more
you
than
told
one.
me that Roberta Flack heard it and said that. Was that
Oh,
right?
well, that okay. We're talking about another song,
Oh, not that song.
not that song.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah,
We can talk
that,
about
that
that
that's
later.
later on. That later on down the road.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But that,
Okay.
but in other words, the Glide became the single, and it was. We toured behind it for quite a while, and I'm just happy that people gravitated to it and liked it. I from my perspective, when I wrote Glide, which I did in Portland, I was visiting my mom in Portland, and I was staying at her house, and I was upstairs in the bedroom, and I had my bass, and I was just thinking, God, I want to write something different. I want something different, because at that time, you know how when you want to be successful, you want to you want to be liked, as a band. And so sometimes when you hear stuff on the radio, you want to try to sound like that. And I noticed the material that I was seeing coming in from the band. Some of it was we were trying to sound like other people. I was like, oh, I, you know, which is okay because it's okay to sound like someone else to try to gravitate to be popular. But I really want to try to be different. And so that's why I wrote Glide, and I decided for it to be a group vocal, so there really was no standout lead. It was everybody singing at the same time, and it just had this funny little line. I was playing tenths on the bass, and certain special chords and things like that. But I wasn't thinking anything other than just having something different on the record. And so we recorded that. I think we might have done one or two takes, maybe one, and we had the drum machine going just for I don't know why we did that. I think it might have been Bruce's idea, Bruce Carter, the drummer. And so we recorded it. We were just playing along, and we thought we'd have two verses on it. And I'd written one verse, and we left space for a second verse. And so we did recorded it down, and when we got to the ending groove, we just stayed there. We just kept playing and playing and playing and playing. So and you know, just letting it go, just playing. And so next thing you know, we stop playing. We go in the control room. We're listening to it back, and so we're listening to it. It's like, oh man, we got to the end. It was like, ooh, okay. Everybody in the room, everybody's head was bobbing like this. They're
Yeah.
going like this. Everybody said,
Spontaneous.
oh yeah. We didn't even realize it because it was
Yeah.
just a moment. So we
Yeah.
let it go. And so I had to decide. We had to decide. Okay, do we want a second verse or do we want this groove at the end? Can't have both because it's too long.
Okay.
So there was a second verse. I didn't like it anyway. The second verse. So we just decided to edit it, cut from the first chorus, cut to the last chorus, cut out the whole meat of the whole second verse, and then the second intro and all that stuff, and went straight to the groove. And that's how the long groove came about.
Mm.
Now, interesting story about that is
Yeah.
that as the groove went on, we took stuff out, just kind of break it down a little bit, to break it down, just to have the bass and drums going.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much what it was. A lot of people say it was a bass solo, but it really wasn't. I was just playing as a backup. I was just playing
Mm,
parts. I didn't really solo,
okay.
and the guys loved it so much. It was kind of like, okay. I thought for a slight second, so maybe I should go back and play more on that. I should play a little more, maybe do a little more, like more of a solo thing. But I saw the look on everyone's face, and they were enjoying it so much that why would I want to go in there and start soloing over it? Just let it be what's going to be, you know.
Yeah.
And so now the interpretation was, it came out, everybody thought it was a bass solo, but it really wasn't. It was just me
Yeah.
just along with the
Just
band.
being funky, just your own natural
Yeah,
funky self.
just trying to just play along with the band and having fun, man. So,
Yeah.
so it worked out. People loved the group at the end, and the song was did really well. So I was really happy about that.
Yeah, yeah. If you're gonna study music, there's certain things like for piano players. If you're gonna play jazz, you know, Art Tatum, Oscar Peterson's my favorite. But you understand the history. You understand Oscar Peterson. Listen to he was influenced by Art Tatum, different things like that. The reason I say that is that you know, for bass players, if you're gonna play a certain style of music, there's certain kind of songs that you're gonna listen to, and people, of course, may go to Jaco Pastores. Marcus Miller is a great friend of both of ours, who we work with a lot. We
Uh,
look to him, but right in there, and even Marcus himself has said it, is that Nate Phillips is there with this song, Glide.
oh,
And so for me, I cannot go without saying that and really giving you your props. I find it so interesting. And I think that it's so wonderful is that for me, what I hear is that y'all just playing music and just being, who you are. And I know you to be that funky self and just amazing player. But like you said, like listening back to it, just letting it be what it was, and maybe not even knowing that it was going to be as huge as it was. And hearing from what you're saying right now that you didn't think at that time is like most bass players that are going to pick up the bass is going to have to listen to this song and learn how to play this song in their education of learning how to, be funky and to be able to play the bass. But to me, that's really what it is, and what it is now is that, yeah, man, you have such a since I've known you for some time. We played quite a bit together. You have such a unique approach to playing. Like you mentioned, the tenths. I know we're getting a little more specific music. People that don't play music may not know what that means, but the notes are kind of spread out. You're playing two notes at one time at some times, which you don't always hear, all the time in a bass line. Then I was going to ask too, because you also have a technique of using a pick, like a guitar player. Did you do that on that song or no?
on Glide, no, that was all just fingers.
All
Um,
finger. Okay. Okay.
yeah, that was I'd used my Fender jazz bass. I have this 1970 jazz bass, stock bass. I picked it up right off the rack at the music store and recorded that. We went straight into this engine. We went straight into the back of the tape recorder, into the
Oh
20.
wow.
They plug it straight into.
No amp or nothing, just straight in.
No,
Wow.
no anything.
Wow.
And I had round wound strings on it, rotor sounds, and
Okay.
that's how that sound came about the way it did. Everybody said, "How'd you get that sound?" I said, "Dude, I just plugged it in and started playing." So to now the notes that I picked on that, I was really inspired. Believe it or not, Ron Carter. I have to say, at the very end,
Wow. Okay.
that's what made me think of those tints and those certain
Wow.
things. And
Okay.
I just truly love Ron and his work. And I got to meet him one time. Hopefully, I get to
Okay.
meet him again. I think we're going to meet him again. I think pretty soon. I think.
Oh, you serious? Okay. That's
Yeah, I think
cool.
we are on the cruise. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was
That's
inspired.
great.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was inspired by Ron, and I listened to, like you said. I mean, I listened to all kinds of music, and the pick situation came about because I, like I said, I liked everything. I listened to, believe me, I listened to the Beatles. I listened to Tower Power. I listened to all these different guys. I listened to Chicago. I listened to Monk Montgomery. Monk played a pick too. So I'm like, okay, I kind of like the sound of it. It makes me play differently when I play with a pick.
Mhm.
And I think with me, I was just subliminally just looking for different ways to inspire myself to play. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
pick happened to be one of the things I picked up, and I still use it to this day. It's kind of fun. It makes me sound different. It makes me think differently. I think differently when I play with a pick as opposed to when I play with my fingers. And
Mhm.
so that applies to even when I play with my thumb, when I'm thumping like the great Larry Graham, like
Yeah.
he's the man. you know
Yeah.
so I think differently when I play like that. So it's all just a part of me trying to stay inspired, and I go
Yeah.
back and forth, just like on another example, on people ask me what bass I used on certain songs,
Mhm.
and I have to think about it because I would change basses all the time.
Okay.
On the Future Now record, I played the Fender Jazz on a couple of things. I
Mhm.
think it was Glide and Nothing to It, maybe one or two of the other things, Strong Love or something like that.
Okay.
Then I switched over to a Music Man bass on Universal and some of the other songs. I don't know what I used on Future Now. I don't remember. Then I had a
Okay.
PV bass that I would switch to as well. So all those things will help to inspire me to try to think differently,
I got
and
you.
which forced me to play differently.
Yeah. So is that what was the inspiration of plugging the bass directly into the tape recorder? Is just trying to figure out, let's see what it sounds like, or did you have a thought process with that?
Now there's no well, you know what? I can't take credit for that. That was that was our engineer Phil Capel, who was the son of
Okay.
Ralph Capel. Phil helped us with that record. He engineered it.
Okay.
He just had an idea. He said, "Hey, let's try. What happens if we just plug in straight into?" Grab the long cord, and you know,
Yeah.
came out of the board. Well, I came out of the direct line from the. I'm in the studio, of course, and he's in control. He took the direct line and just plugged it in,
Yeah.
and so it gave it
Okay.
that raw sound. I don't know. Hey, it was just electronics back then. Who knows? It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Well, you're teaching me even more. Like as much music as you and I play together. What I see you as is like you always able to like listen and find that sweet spot and just get in there. What I call just get in there.
Oh,
But hearing what you're saying as far as just being adaptable of like, I understand exactly what you mean, like certain sounds or certain bass, or if you have a pick or if you're doing you using your finger, that whatever that inspiration is of that sound at that time, and there may
mhm.
be different sounds may take you in a certain direction. But yes, like what I know of you, just you just always able to, like you said, you grew up listening and really learning how to listen and figuring out what to do. Is that to me, that's one of your huge gifts of just being able to just be able to find that sweet spot and just come out with something that's unique, like the song Glide and all of the different things that you do on bass, and just making it work and making it feel good and right at that time.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say that. I strive to be that. I have to be honest with it. It's a hit and miss. I don't make it all the time. And sometimes I try stuff and it's like, ooh, that did not work very well. And unfortunately, when you're in the studio recording on someone's record, if it's something doesn't work, you get voted out, and it's there for it's there forever. You're like, oh man. Sometimes
Yeah,
I can't. Some of the stuff I've done, I can't listen to it. It's like, oh,
yeah,
well, Nate, you
yeah,
tried.
yeah. Well, I know we're always our hardest critic,
Well,
and
that's
always,
true. That's true.
But I think just the trust of you're not afraid to in the moment just play and play something from your heart. Like you said, I understand that, it works sometimes. There may be times it doesn't work, but to me, the times where when you play from your heart, it's like that's unforgivable, I guess. So
Yeah.
for to me, that always wins out. So I don't know. From
That is.
my standpoint, I understand what you're saying, but from my standpoint, it's like you almost don't even remember the times where you may feel like, oh, I might have wanted to play something else because the heart of it and that what I call it, that natism, that's what I call
Uh,
it. The natism is always there and wins out
uh,
over all the other stuff.
yeah, I've heard that. You came up with that term, and I started thinking about that when you said that. You said to me a while back, a couple of years ago. And I think about that sometimes. Say, well, I guess I do. I have spurts of, because a lot of things that I do, they're on the, I'm improvising them, you know, and sometimes something will come to me, not from me, but you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so and it comes out, and if it works, it's great. But and I, you know, I'm very appreciative that I can, you know, inspire other people. You know, they like what I do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but I can't take credit for it, man. You know, I can't take all the credit. He blessed me, man. So whatever I do, man, if you like it, if people like it, that's a wonderful thing. Just like when people, I notice on YouTube, people they do their interpretation of Glide and some of the other stuff that I've recorded, and yeah, I love
Right.
it. You
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
look at it as people, and people would comment to me. They would call me, man, is he playing that right? He's playing, man. You know what? He's playing it the way he hears it. That's all that's important.
Well,
That's
the answer
all.
is no.
No, no.
But I understand what you're saying. Your grace is like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you know, you make it your take it
yeah,
and make it your own, man. That's
yeah.
all.
So have you ever released, like, have you gone on YouTube and like, this is how you play it? Or do you have a desire you don't want to do that? Just let people, you know.
Um, I, I have not gone on YouTube and showed people exactly how it's played, but
Okay.
they can figure it
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
there are guys on there who played it very well.
Okay. Okay.
You know, if you, I just look at it. Hey, you know, my whole career has been based upon me trying to sound like other people. So, I mean, I get inspiration from other people. You see on some of the records that I've done, I'm trying to sound like somebody else.
I got
You
you. I
know,
got
so, because I love, you know, other people's playing. You know,
you.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I love Ron, I love Marcus, I love, you know, Anthony Jackson, and you know,
Mhm.
people like Mark Adams from Slave. And I'm thinking
Yeah.
it crosses the spectrum. I love Peter Cetera, you know, even from Chicago, and he plays some great bass, man. It's like, you know, so I'm, you know, sometimes I get in the mood. I say, how can I sound like that? I want to. How is he
Yeah.
doing? You know,
Yeah. Okay.
and he
Well, you
uses
may
my.
have answered my question then, because I was going to say was it's hard for me to answer this question, but I was going to ask you named, bass players that you listened to and influenced you, but is there one that you say this was my guy coming up that I really, listened to? And if it's not one, you've named quite a few.
It's hard, man,
Yeah,
because I listen to so many people, man. I love
yeah,
Nate White. I love Nathan East.
yeah,
You know, Jimmy Jermont, and you know, all the regular cats, Stanley. You
right.
know, um, James Jamerson.
Yeah,
You know, all those, all of them.
yes.
I don't think I've ever heard a bass player that I didn't that I didn't
I hear
like,
you. I hear
because
you.
of me being a bass player. It puts me. It's almost like I don't. It doesn't even matter how proficient they are on their instrument. It's a matter of how it makes me feel.
Yeah,
That's what makes me gravitate to it. I've heard some bass players who it seemed like they could barely play, you know, but they managed to play on a record, and it's to me, I'm like, wow,
yeah.
how did they hear that to play it the way they played it?
Right,
You know,
right.
maybe lack of ability, I don't know, but it sure felt good to me.
Yeah,
You know, sounded good to me.
yeah.
So
Yeah, to me, that's the gauge, I guess, for me too, is just, we all want to be proficient on our instruments. I'm not saying that,
yeah, yeah,
but the end of the day, you don't want the proficiency to take over and there's no feeling.
yeah,
So I would take feeling all day because it's got to
all
feel
the day
right.
long.
To
Yeah,
me, the I know we both see music the same way, but it's like speaking, we're using our instrument to speak to other people. So
hmm,
there's got to be some feeling. If they don't feel anything, then we're doing something wrong, or we're
yeah,
not as connected as we think to our instrument and to the music that we're playing, you know. So I'm with
exactly.
you. I'm with you on that.
And I think with me at the old, it's so funny. I'm going to be 70 in December, and the older I get,
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thank. I'm glad. Hey, I'm grateful to be still be hanging out.
Looking good, man. Looking
Yeah, I'm
great.
trying, man. I'm trying. But the older I get, that I think that I enjoy things that are simpler. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to some records and of course I love the fusion thing too. Don't get me wrong, Jocko and those cats, man. Man,
Right.
I mean, Jocko's my boy, man. I loved him.
Yeah.
I tried to play like him for a minute. I said, well, it's enough of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still do things that in honor of him, you know.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part nowadays, I'm listening to things, man. And there's a lot of bass players out there now who they're playing some incredible stuff. I mean, just amazing stuff, and so I'm loving that too.
Yeah.
At the same time, I still love to go back to the day when we were bass player going doom 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 doom. You know,
Yes. Yes.
when
I'm with
I,
you. I'm with you.
I hear that, okay, my day is made. I love that.
Right, right. I'm with you. Okay. Well, before we move even beyond pleasure and some other things that you've done, I'd like you to talk with I didn't ask you about just touring, early on. Because I assume even after that first record you all start touring. And then I'd like to know about when you all because I guess it started um yeah, kind of later 70s, and then you all, I guess disbanded, 80, early 80.
Yes.
I don't remember the 81, 82, something like that. So first just tell me a little bit about the touring and how that was early on.
Well, for us, it being having like one or two charting songs, um, a lot of the promoters they would book us with other acts, and so we got the privilege to play with the Brothers Johnson, with the Barkays, with Cameo, with Lakeside, with Sky, with I mean, even Blue Magic, people like that. We played at
Mhm.
the um, what's the theater in Philadelphia? It might have been the Tower Theater,
Okay.
and we play with everybody. You know, Cool in the Gang.
Yes.
The Cool
Yeah.
in the Gang they were, and the thing is, we would always we never closed, so we were kind of like maybe just second or the third act in.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but it was just great to see at that time how they'd have these mega concerts with all these different like 4 or 5 acts,
Yeah.
and it was just so much fun, you know. And we never thought of us as being the underdog, but we always kind of thought we wanted to do the best that we could, so we always tried to play our best, you
Okay.
know, even though we may not have had the time on stage. We would get 30 minutes or maybe sometimes 20. You know,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you got 20 minutes. This is all you got.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so we try to make the best of it. And so we learned a lot from doing that, just by watching other groups and learning what they did on stage. And so because our live show wasn't that strong when we first started off, but by watching other groups, we kind of learned how to, we have to do a performance, so we had to learn how to do that, and it worked
Yeah.
out fine. I mean, people liked this. I mean, all the groups that we played with, we were all friends, and I never thought of it as a competition. And I don't think any of the other guys did either. We were just playing and having fun, man. And we
Yeah.
did a couple of things with Brothers Johnson, and he would come back there, and Lewis would come backstage, man, with his bass, and we'd hang out and talk and things like that. And it was great. I was really Cool in the Gang. Cool was great with me. He would always he we I made put together my own bass amp system. I had like four cabinets, so two cabinets on each side of the stage, and there were two 15s in each of them. I had a couple of Crown DC 300 amps, and I had
Okay.
an Olympic preamp, so it was very loud on stage.
Yeah.
They wanted to hear it loud, so
Yeah.
there it is. And so, every time we tour with Cool and the Gang, they would always say, "Man, can we use your bass rig, man? Can I use your bass?" I said, "Yeah, man, go ahead and use it, man, please, by all means,
Yeah.
man." And it made it easier too for the setup situation. That was part of the thing too. So once we set up, they could just come on and move the bass up and just go.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
it was a camaraderie, man. I really enjoyed playing with all those other acts, and we learned a lot, and it helped with the success of the record too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, it's a lot of history in that. And I see that as the good old days when you had all those bands. touring and playing. That was very cool. So now we mentioned and I messed it up, the story about what song was it that Roberta Flack heard and of, I guess, of yours, and was like, this is the song.
Oh well, I was told this. Now I wasn't there because
Okay.
this was during we did a record for RCA. Um, it must have been in 1980, 81. Must have been. But there was a kind of semi ballad on there that I wrote, and the lead singer was hanging out with Roberta, and the lead singer told me, he said that Roberta said that's the song you guys should have as a single.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think I
Yeah.
wrote it, but I never looked at it as oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I wrote the song. Yeah, it was never like that. I was just glad that people took notice, because you have to remember, for with me, this I haven't told you this. The first couple of records, pleasure records, I didn't write anything. I was
Okay.
not. I wasn't a writer on Dishes of All, Acceptable Substitutes. I think I might have had one song on the Joyous record,
Okay.
and that was kind of like my intro to writing songs,
Mhm.
um, and then kind of took off from there.
Okay.
So, you know, anytime that anyone liked a song that I wrote, especially someone like Roberta, I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was just really, it was really special, and I
Yeah.
thought and I think it might have been part of it too. She might have said that because she was friends with the guy who sang the song too. So that might, and he did such a great job on it too. So he sang it
Okay.
too. So that
Yeah.
that might have played a pretty important part on why she helped to pick the song as a single.
Okay. Well, I know you being humble, but either way, it was. I mean, it was the stamp of approval was put on it, and to me, then like I guess I see it as sometimes people go their whole life they just trying to get that one song um that may connect or hit, and yeah, and may or may not ever see that. So I just think it's really great to see, the um yeah, just the story of how it just unfolded. And like you're saying, coming from not even writing early on, with the group, and then having some of your songs on there, and then of course Glide, that will forever be, a staple. And then all the other songs that you were able to write. So what ended up happening that you all I guess decided to stop the band? Was it 81, 82? Is that right? Around
Yeah,
that time?
somewhere in there, somewhere in there.
Okay. Okay.
There was, who knows, man. I won't go into detail, but it was, when you think of a scenario of any band that is broken up, it's
Yeah,
basically the same thing.
I got
People start thinking differently.
you. Yeah.
If there's if someone is getting more notoriety, or someone writes a song that does better than others, and then there's money issues that become a part of it, and then people want to start doing their own thing, and it just got to the point where it was just really time to
Yeah,
do some other things.
I
I,
got
I, I won't get into the details as to what really the detail,
you.
because
Okay.
it was pretty
No.
pretty gnarly, but at the same time, it is what it is. It happens, and I think everybody went on their merry way, and everybody did their own thing eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. And I understand that um always, I guess I tend to sometimes, not with every artist, but like those first couple of records, for me sometimes are the best ones because it's like they were hungry and like there weren't as many people in their ear and different things. And then you see the progression as things get in their ear, then I hear the record and it almost hurts my heart because it's like I could almost hear it's like they got a whole bunch of people in their ear now. And it's you can hear it's they messing with their creativity and changing the essence of who they were. And like I
Yeah.
said, that's not everybody, but there are, I've heard that with some people that I'm may have liked or listened to. It just hurts my heart because us being in the music business, understanding like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Exactly. And that's the part of the business that can be corrosive. Um, but there are groups who stand the test of time.
Right,
Like
right,
for example, Cool and the Gang. I mean, those guys have been
yeah,
around forever. I mean, we grew up.
right,
I grew up listening to Robert Bell playing bass. That's how I learned how to play.
yeah,
And to this day, he is still out there, and the band is still doing it. I mean, of course, they lost a few members, but at the
hmm,
same time, they weathered the storm. So there is a philosophy. There is a way to do it, and I encourage people to try to talk to Robert about that thing. And I've never had a chance to pull him aside. Man, what's the secret to having longevity
hmm,
in a band and keep evolving, even
yeah,
through personnel changes. You
right,
know,
right,
they managed to do it. So I commend those guys, man.
yeah, yeah. So yes, I'm with you, and I know that you went on to do a lot of the things. You played on a lot of records. I know we won't even have time to go through your whole discography, but I know that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't mention that Marlon McClain, guitar player, I guess he was early on with, we mentioned the guitars and saxes tour that we did. I don't remember if he was on the very first one, but at some point, and it may have been, so sorry, Marlon, if I'm messing up the time frame, but he was in on that. And I know you all, um, meeting you guys, I learned that you all grew up together and pleasure and everything. The reason I bring it up now also is that did you all do some work with Jeff Lorber as well later after Pleasure? Is that right? Or,
Yes. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I actually played on Jeff's demo, his first demo, for him to
okay.
get. He got his deal through that. Not because of me playing on, but I've known Jeff way back when he lived in
Yeah.
Portland,
Okay.
and he says that to this day. Yeah, Nate, you played on my first demo. So
Yeah.
time went on. Yeah, I played on a lot of Jeff's records as well, and
Okay.
Marlon as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our relationship with Jeff has been very good, and yeah, he's been a fan of the band for a long time. So as a matter of fact, dude, we were looking for a keyboard player back in the day, and we were rehearsing in the basement before we
Mhm.
made our first record. And I went to a record store. Me and Bruce Carter went to a record store in downtown Portland, and there was a guy at the counter, uh, working there at the counter. And we started talking. He said, "Yeah, my name is Jeff Lover. I play keys." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "You know what? We're looking for a keyboard player.
Okay.
So why don't you come?" I said, I gave him the number. Say, "Come to our rehearsal. We're gonna have a rehearsal at a certain time." It was like a couple of days later, and we were at rehearsal. We said, "Where's this guy at, man? We don't. Where is he?" He was trying to call us to get the address, I think, but the
Oh wow.
phone was upstairs, and we were downstairs. we, we
Yes.
didn't hear him, so we
Yes.
thought, "Oh man, I guess he didn't want to be here, man. I guess he didn't want to be a part of the crew."
Wow.
Look how it turned out, though, man.
Yes.
Jeff went on to do his own thing, Jeff Lover Fusion, and the Bruce
Yeah.
played Fusion. I think I played a couple of times with Jeff Lover Fusion, and he eventually got
Hmm.
a deal, and then the rest is history with him. But
Yeah.
Jeff was a huge pleasure fan. He still talks about it to this day, and
Yeah.
bless him, man. He's one of the guys. I mean, just like you guys, man, great players, man. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I didn't know. That's a great story. I didn't know that. And I knew later you went on. I know you and Wayne Henderson, of course, from the beginning had a great relationship. But I know you went on to play with the Crusaders some too. Um,
Yes, I did, and that was the scariest thing I'd ever done in my life.
okay.
I think I was like maybe 19 or something, maybe
Okay.
17, 18 or 19.
Okay.
And Wayne was still in the Crusaders at the time, and
Hmm.
they needed a bass player, so Wayne brought me out to play.
Okay.
And the pleasure was still going strong. We were making records and things like that. And so I got to play with them. I got to play with Joe and
Wow.
Larry Carlton, Sticks Hooper, Wilton
Yeah.
Felder. And
Okay.
I did a tour with them, man. It was great, man. And we hung out for a while. We did quite a few dates, man. And Joe looked at me and said, "Yeah, man, you should be in the band, man. I'm going to make sure you learn how to play Crusader music, man. you're gonna learn how to play Crusader music. You know how he talks.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna learn.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, it worked out well. And but eventually, this is what happened was Wayne was actually at that time getting ready to depart from the Crusaders, and so
Mm,
he was kind of like, Natesky, we gotta, you have your band Pleasure, let's go on. And I think shortly after that, I went back to Pleasure, and that's when Wayne left the Crusaders. So that's a whole other dynamic, a whole other story.
mm, mm.
Yeah. So yes, but I did get to play with him, and of course
Yes,
we played with him on the cruises too. With Joe,
yes.
and
Yeah,
so it worked out. I mean, I think the guys in the Crusaders were heartbroken when Wayne left. Um, but they worked it out. Hey man, they still made some great records, man. And Wayne
yeah.
went on to do his thing. He was incredible as a producer.
Right, right. Okay, okay. Yeah. Well, I wanted you talked about, which I think I love the fact that you mentioned some of your basses and like what you were playing on certain records. I know I know you, so I know now that you have your own signature bass. Um so I want you to talk a little bit about that. Um yeah, like how did that even come about and exactly you can tell us what the name of it is and everything. I always tease you because I'm like, I need to get me one of them NPS, the Nate Phillips signature bass in my studio here in Texas.
I'll get you one. Well, it's that's a pretty straightforward story. I played in this group called the Daz Band for a long time. And
Yes.
around the same time, I was playing with the Second Crusade, which is Wayne and Wilton. They did a stint. They made a few records too. I was on those. At the same
Hmm.
time, I played with the Daz Band, and during the Daz Band period, I became good friends with Kenny Pettis, who's one of the lead singers.
Okay.
Kenny is a great singer, singing lead in the Daz Band, one of the lead singers, and he played bass too. Um, he called me. Kenny's called me. He said, "Man, there's this guy who makes these basses. He wants to talk to you." And he said, you should have your own bass." Now I had never thought about having my own bass. Never crossed my mind at all. And he said, "No, Nate, you need to have this bass. Call this guy at Bass Mods. Call him." And I called him, and the guy was gracious. And he said, "I want to send you a bass, and you tell me what you think of it, and let's try to do something." And that's pretty much how it worked out. I wasn't in search of it, but it was truly a blessing, because and I'll tell you the quick story behind that. I went to another bass shop, and I was trying to find a bass, and I saw a yellow bass on the stand. There was a really nice bass, really played well, and I said, "Wow, I really want this bass." And the guy, I said, is there a discount available for this?" And he said, "Nope, no discount." So he told me how much it was, like about $5,000 or something like that. I said, "Can't afford that." And this was like a couple of days before Rob from Bass Mods called me. He called me,
Okay.
and
Wow.
I worked it out, and he sent me a bass, and I tried it out, and I liked it. So I said, "Wow, this bass sounds good. I like the sound of this." I said, "This is my bass here." And he said, "Okay, I'll send you one." He said, "What color do you want?" I said, "Yellow."
Yes.
Because it was just like, it looked like the one that I fell in love with at the other store. And that was
Mm.
the beginning of that. It was
Yeah.
it was a pretty simple story. It wasn't. I didn't go out searching for it or anything. I just got blessed with it, and then thanks to Kenny Pettis, he hooked that up for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been working with Rob at Bass Mods ever since.
Okay. That's beautiful. And yeah, I love the color. That's become a signature. You got your dress, your hair going, and the ladies love the yeah, I'm teasing now because I don't want to get in trouble with your wife, which we know and love as well, but I'm teasing, but you got your hair going, you funky, and then you got the yellow base mod, bruh, it's over.
Oh man!
And you
Oh,
killing them. You killing them.
well, Arlie, you're so funny, man. You're so funny. Now, since then, he's given me a couple of different color bases. I mean, this was the one, the first one he sent me. This is the very first one.
Ah, okay. Okay.
This is the
Yes.
very first, and I played some for
That's
a
a
while
beautiful.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice.
That's beautiful.
And
That's a
then,
5 string too. Yes.
it's yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
That's
at the end of the day, man, you're very funny. My wife, she won't let me cut my hair. That's the thing with that. If
yeah.
I had my way, she said, "Nope, nope, you're not cutting it." I said, "I
See,
want to."
she know what she know. She yeah. You do what the wife says. That's all. I have no.
I bet,
I
I bet.
that as far as I'm concerned, that ain't none of my business.
It's not my job. My job is to keep my wife happy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I'm with you on that. I'm
Well,
with you
yeah.
on that. So that's
And as far as the live stuff, when you see me on stage, it's kind of like I'm just entertaining. I don't know how musical it is, but
very musical.
when I don't do it, if I don't do a few little, that's what I grew up with anyway. Back in the day in the R&B thing, that's what
Yeah.
people did. They dressed a certain way, and
Yeah.
they put on a little show. So I
Right.
guess it's part of it. I never even thought of it as a means of success, but I think it's if people like it, then it's fine, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love it. I'm teasing, but I'm serious. I love it. And you should have your own signature bass and all the work you've done all these years, and continue to doing. It's really great. I know that I'm going to tell you what my favorite song is. I want to talk about your own. You went on to release your own music as well. Your album Reset.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, came out. Uh, I don't know, was it around 2012 or so? Is that right?
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Um, and I had the pleasure of playing a few songs with you from that record, like
Mm-hmm.
when we were on the jazz cruise performing different things. But
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, and it's equally just as funky and just all the Nateisms that you could want are on there. Mine is I'm feeling all right. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the I forgot the rest of the title because it says in parentheses. What's the full name of
Might
it?
might as well have a party.
Yeah, might as well have a
Uh,
party. That thing there, man, that's my joint right there, bro. So
thank
for me, like listening to it is just really killing, and then having the opportunity to play it with you, I was just like, oh, dude, that's my song.
well,
That's my song.
that song was inspired by two people, and I've never
Okay,
told
okay.
one was you.
What?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the other one was Kirk Whalum.
Wow,
Right? Yeah.
wow. You never told me that ever.
Uh, I didn't want your head to get blown up.
Yeah. Next time you see me, it's like I'll have bodyguards and all kind of stuff. Like next time he put
Oh,
that song, yeah, no, I'm
well, check it out, dude. I mean, I don't know which came first. I know I played on your one of your songs, and
yeah. You played on my record called Groove.
yeah,
Yes.
I don't know which came first, but it seems like I was thinking of you during that period, um,
Okay.
and yeah, man, that's where it came from, and so that's why you
Killer.
like it.
Maybe so. I never knew. That's so funny. I never knew that. But that's yeah, that song is killing. Bro. That
Yeah,
song is
and
killing.
what's so funny about that record? It was a moment in time, and I did that record on. I was kind of on the road. I was doing a Christmas tour
Hmm.
with Peter White, and I think I sang that on in the in a in a hotel room. I brought my mic and I got a towel and put my mic inside of the ice cup. They have the ice when you get ice from the
Yeah.
the mic in there, and I had a terrible cold, and I just said, okay, I'm on a deadline. I gave myself. I said, I'm going to get this record done. I'm going to put it out.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
how I have to do it. This is a deadline. You have to give yourself a deadline because you'll be recording over and over again for years and you never get anything out. So I told
Right.
myself, January, this is coming out. So yeah, that's I did a lot of that and mixed it too. So the mixing is kind of I was on a little laptop and it kept crashing on me. So I'm trying to piece it together and the sound quality wasn't that great. But it is what it's the moment in time. I just wanted to capture it and get it out there.
Yeah,
Some of the stuff
yeah.
sounds really grainy, but some stuff sounds okay. So it was a moment in time, I think the first person that gave me a call, um, well, you were first people um, that mentioned that gave me accolades for it, and then the next person was Patrice Rush, and she called me,
Oh, yeah,
and George
yeah.
Duke reached out to me about it. I was like,
That's
wow,
the.
that's all I need to hear.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't need to hear from nobody else.
They liked it. I'm happy. I'm
That's what
happy.
I'm talking about.
But
Yes.
sure, but sure, I got a lot of people who hated it too. And said, oh man, the first thing they did, they jumped on the mixing of it and said, oh, that sounds terrible, blah blah. So
I don't think it
all,
sounds
neither one of those people, you or anyone else, said. The other two people that said anything like that. They just liked the music. They heard through all that and they appreciated the music. Now I don't like everything on it. I think when your first record you try to do too much, and that was one of those cases. But there are things on there that are okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great record. And yes, I'm like, George Duke, who another great friend I know that we thoroughly miss him. And then Patrice Russian. I mean, after that, bro, I don't think you need to hear from anybody else. You good. No matter what
That's what
anybody
I
else
thought.
said.
Hey, out of all the criticisms I got from the people beating them, some of my best friends, like, oh man, it's terrible. In the back of my mind, I just said, that's okay. George Duke and
Yeah,
Arlington
man.
Jones and Patrice said they liked it, so I
Dude,
guess
I'm telling
that's
you.
that helps me get through it.
Dude, it was killing. And me, I'm with and they're making the records and we're I've been independent my whole career. So you do what you have to do to make the record. And I find encouragement if you saying you mix it yourself. Hope and I am the work that we do and she,
Mhm.
she's done most of mixed most of my records and everything and we do it here. So for me, yeah, I just find encouragement in that you just tackled it and went ahead and did it. And to me, nobody knows your own music better than you. You
That's true.
know,
And I must say, your records are great, man. I mean, I'm still trying to learn some of your songs that you tried to teach me 10 years ago.
you own it, man. But you all, even speaking of that, you mentioned that work you did on my record. You all blessed me. Just talking about even making records for it was during that time when we were doing one of the guitars and saxes. And Ricky
Hmm.
Lawson, was with us still, and the
Okay.
White was playing. But you all were so kind because we basically um, we were on tour and we finished. Well, we were about to go home from LA and
Right.
all of you all were still living in LA. So y'all were like, we'll just stay over and go to Ricky Lawson's studio and record the stuff. And man, it was just such a blessing. And the stuff that you all played, I mean, the title track you all played on that groove. You all played a song, I don't know if you remember one of the songs that Hope wrote, and Kevin Whalum is singing,
Yeah.
called Rhythm Within Me. But I was gonna say the groove song what I wrote. Anybody listen to that song? The last, I don't know, at least 3-4 minutes of it, maybe longer than that, is totally improvised. And I
Yeah.
wanted it to be that way, but it was just so beautiful that I was like, I'm not worried about time licks and all. I'm putting all of it on the record, you know. And but I just for me it was just such a beautiful thing that you all blessed me and what you played, like all the things we've already discussed about how you approach and play music. You know, that happened. I thought it was just such a special moment. I think even when we played it was just like, all right, that's it, you know. And we
Yeah.
just, we didn't try to redo it, play it over again and all that. And all of you all were just so, on it. It was like I don't even remember. It might have been the first take. I don't even remember.
I think it was Arlington. It was truly magical. And you didn't say anything. You just played. You put the chart in front of us, and we just started playing, and that was it. I mean,
Yeah,
we and that's how it came out.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because I loved you all playing, and I just knew it was like I was there, and on those particular songs, like I just wanted everybody's. essence, the nativism, the white Ricky, everything. And so that's exactly what you all gave me. So for me, it wasn't nothing to say, but just we played the song, and then once we played it, I was like, that's it. Nothing I need to do with that. And we went on. So yeah, that was really, 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 really
I was
special
very,
to me.
oh, to me too. I was very, very happy to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Ricky was so gracious with the studio time and all that too. He was just, it was just really worked out really well.
Right, right. And we never would have thought that, I don't remember how much time after that, but I mean, that he wouldn't even be with us, you know,
Yeah.
like now. And so when I think about those times, it was such a beautiful, yeah, beautiful
Hmm.
period.
Hmm.
And like I said, I just feel, well, we've had this kind of conversation, how I feel about you, your plan, and just the person, the man that you are. For me, at this point in my life, I really just enjoy making music the most with people that I have even that kind of connection to away from the music. Because to me, then when we come together and play music, it's easy and it's just that much more beautiful because
Absolutely. I agree. And I agree with you 100%. And you know what's funny about us when we're together, man? We're always laughing about something, man.
yes,
Always
that
laughing
is true.
about something.
That is true. That is true. But to me,
Uh,
that's the joy of it. It's natural and just having fun and so yes, I totally agree. And so man, I appreciate the fact that you can come on and get to kind of tell your story. Someone and I know we could keep going on and on because there's a lot that we kind of missed. I will say that in speaking with your talking about your record, you mentioned before we started that you got a new record coming out too.
yeah. Like I told you earlier, whenever I have free time, I'm always trying to write something, whether it be, something that I heard that inspirational. Even if it's just like 8 measures or something, I try to do something almost every day. And so you do that for a couple of years since the last record. So I have a ton of stuff now. And I've actually, some of it went on the Pleasure record that we did a Pleasure record in
Mhm.
2019.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'll put a few on there. I didn't put much on there because I wanted to feature the other guys. I mean, I've been on the scene, for a while. And then when we talked about the Pleasure thing, I want the other guys because who haven't been around so much to get their material on there, and it worked out good. It was fine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now it's like, okay, I wanted, it's time to release another one. People have been asking me for quite some time.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll put it together, man. The thing is now is deciding what song to
I
put
got you.
out there. And once
Okay.
again, we talked about it earlier. How, okay, do you want to try to do a conceptual album, and then do you want to try to do something that's going to be, you know popular? I don't know the correct term, but or do you
Right.
just want to just be yourself and just make music, just put songs out there that you like, and wherever the chips fall, let them fall where they fall. So I have
Right.
to make that decision. That's coming soon. I'm gonna have to make that
Okay.
decision. They'll probably want to be in the latter. I'll probably just put stuff out there that I like that maybe nobody else is gonna like. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna be all the way in there. So I look forward to it. I look forward to it. I know I'm not even worried about that part. I'll just be waiting for you to be like, it's out, it's done. So then I can, um, check it out. Well, I want to encourage people too because uh I feel like there's so much more that we could talk about and that you've done in life. And so, yes, I just want to encourage people go out there. You got to Google him. You just got to Google Nate Phillips, and you'll see all the things. I know you mentioned the Daz band. You played with a lot of bands, did a lot of things. So many recordings. I know you've done so many. Do you want to name something that that kind of stuck out to you that you've done? Even beyond pleasure and some of your own music that you put out.
Well, this it's pretty easy to find. I don't know if one thing that stuck out
Okay.
more than the others.
Yeah.
Uh, there's
Yeah.
some things that were out there that are out there. were more musically challenging for me. And I will say this, as far as for people who are getting into it and may be a little leery or maybe afraid. Um, the there's nothing to be afraid of. For me, it never was. But my biggest fear was that if someone asked me to do something and I thought in my mind that I couldn't do it, the biggest fear would be regretting that I would back out of it.
Mm,
So, in other words, if there's something placed in front of you and you think you can't do it, there's nothing worse than saying no and then regretting that you didn't do it.
yeah,
So I kind of live that way, especially with stuff musically that I thought I couldn't handle. I said, okay, if I'm saying I can't handle it, they're saying I can do it. So they called me for a reason.
right.
So if I were to say no, I mean, I'm looking down the road years later saying, man, why didn't you do that? So never be, just go for it. Go for
Yeah,
it. Whether you walk in there afraid, you may walk into a session or a gig afraid, but you're going to learn something. If you fail, then this is a lesson learned. It's not, doesn't
yeah,
mean that you're not good. It just means that it's just a lesson to learn to strive and move forward and keep going.
right, right. No, I think that's wonderful. That's great. That's really, really good advice. Really
Hmm.
good advice. So yeah, I agree with you. I think all of us, um, I don't know that we're in some aspects we might be fearless in some ways because we
Yes.
are going to play and we're going to take the stage and we're going to do, but then I think most professional musicians also do, we all probably struggle with that where we have to um, talk ourselves up or just natural fears that it being human that you may have that
Hmm.
you like you say you kind of talk yourself through it and realize, well, this is something I need to do. I'm okay and trust that we spend our whole lives playing, practicing, and doing things. And like you said, when there's an opportunity that you don't allow your humanness to keep you from going and exploring and having that
Hmm.
experience.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So
Um,
I'm with you.
there was a record I did with Bobby Lau called I think it was New Warrior, and there was had some pretty difficult stuff on that. And I wasn't sure if I could, once again, I guess I left my life as being, kind of insecure about my playing, but at the same time saying, okay, you can be insecure all you want, but you better go ahead and do it anyway. And he blessed me, and then I went up to his house and we worked on the stuff, and we ran it down a couple of times, and he said, Nate, I need to do this as much as you. I'm trying to learn it too. I wrote it, but I got to learn how to play it. So when he said that to me, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah,
He wrote something that is challenging for him,
yeah,
and so from that perspective, I learned a lot from that. And a couple of the songs there, we went to the studio and we would do the stuff that was a little bit easier every day. And we were there for a week. Did the easy
mhm,
stuff, and at the end of the day, we would do a couple of takes of the difficult ones. And a couple of times we tried them and it didn't work. Actually, it was a great section. It was just me, and it was Bobby and Harvey Mason
oh yeah,
on drums.
mhm,
So we would do a take every at the end of the day of the difficult stuff, and sometimes we got it sounded pretty good. And then we eventually got it on like the third or fourth day. We would only do like one run of the hard thing, just then, because just go for it. And what I learned was that even as great as the people who were in the room with me were, there were times when they were thinking, "Oh man, we got to get this, I got to get it," So they were
yeah,
thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
right, right,
So
right,
and so if you walk in the room with love in the room like that, then you can't fail, man, because
yeah,
it's not about it's about just reaching certain goals and trying to reach for certain things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's good. I think that's good you sharing that. And we know it. We've been in certain arenas or whatever. That's always relative as
Yes,
far as um,
yes,
yeah, what you're doing and yeah. But I think you're right. You approach the room with love,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
the part of coming together to make
Mm-hmm.
music. Then
That's exactly right.
it always ends up working out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's
Really.
great, man. Well, the name of the show is The Way I Hear It. So I always end the show um this way. I For me, the way I hear it is I've always been one to kind of just really like with my own writing, my own music I put out, just do it my way. And even I started playing classical music, I would hear the classical stuff like with these other kind of chords and rhythms and stuff. And so I'd always flip it and do things my way. But for me, the way I hear it is that I feel like God has inspired everything that I've done. I knew I wouldn't. You mentioned that earlier. I wouldn't be here without Him. And so for me, it's always with the purpose of performing to bless people. And I just believe that God's gonna send the people. We performed all over and we play all the time, but every time for me is that the people that need to hear what God's given me and what I've worked on all my life, they'll be blessed by that. And so it's not even really about me, but it's just about them getting what they need every time. And so I feel like the records that we put out and all that, people think about a pleasure record or whatever and put it on, then they get exactly what they need, at that time. But I
Mm-hmm.
was just going to get your thoughts, and this can go any way you want, whatever, however you think about it. But how is it the way you hear? And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer, but whatever, if you have any thoughts on that, you can share that with us.
Well, I agree with everything you just said. You know, I think we're all artists and actors and everybody across the board who are doing things. We're all vessels, and I mean there's certain aspects that of course you get training and you learn how to hone in your craft, but it's still a blessing. I don't care how you want to say it. And
Yeah,
that you know as well as I. Sometimes when you're on stage, certain things happen, and you don't know how they happen.
right.
Where did it come from?
Yeah,
How did we get here? Where? What? Who? Who? What? Where? Why? But we all
yeah,
know it's
yeah,
all a blessing, man. And
yeah,
so I never take that for granted. And I guess I kind of leave myself open for that too. A lot of times I'll and this is an interesting thing. I won't harp on it, but a lot of times when we're in rehearsals and we're rehearsing on things, I'm kind of like my rehearsal. I'm not really. I'm kind of just listening mostly for than actually playing because I'm thinking about what what the best way for me to approach it. And a lot of times I approach things about once I learn the song, then I let hopefully pray for the blessing to to hit me to move it to the next level. It's like a lot of times, my rehearsal things are totally different from my stage thing, you know. But I just hope and pray for the blessing to spiritually lead me to play that reaches people to a point
yeah,
where they can feel it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's wonderful. And like I said, having been blessed to know you and have you as friend and family and to be able to work with you all these years that yes, I hear you say that and articulate it in that fashion that it does come off um in that fashion. I think about young people that and not just young people, this is really for anybody, is that yeah, you're not always just jump in there and just play without thinking.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times we've heard things where you playing the right notes, but you like something off,
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
But from what I'm hearing from you is just always that heart of yeah, just being open and figuring out where you need to fit and what you need to do and being
Hmm.
sensitive to making sure that it's working. And so to me, the end goal is always great because are always conscious of that.
I try to be conscious of it, and and try not to get distracted with things that could not put me in that space where I want to be.
Right, right.
Because there are,
Yeah,
when you're performing live, there's sometimes there are distractions that can get in the way.
yeah,
But if you just keep the course, man.
yeah,
That's how I do it. Just keep the course. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But hey, it's
yeah.
it's 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 all a blessing.
Right. You're right. It is. It is. Well, man, I so appreciate you, man. This is I've been looking forward to this. Thank you so very much for sharing everything today. I look forward to the next time we'll be together and get to play and everything. But yeah, I love you as a person. I love you as a musician and everything that you've done. And I really am honored to be able to, call you friend. And um, you know, the great Nate Phillips is the legend that he is.
No,
And so
man.
thank you
No.
so much for this, man. I really appreciate
Hey,
it.
hey, Arnold, I love you too. I love your family, and just thank you for letting me be in your life, man. And thank you for also encouraging me to make music with you. I mean, your stuff is your music is on another level. It's really amazing. And you play from the heart, and it's challenging at times, and at the same time, it feels good. So I've learned a lot playing with you, a lot. So thank you for that, and hopefully we can keep on continuing just doing it, man. We got, you know, maybe I'll see you out there on the road. Maybe I get to play with Jonathan Butler maybe at some point here.
Yes, yes, yes,
If you're out with him,
yes.
are you still out with him?
I am. I am. I am. So yes,
Yeah.
still doing that. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So yes, I know we don't get to see each other all the time, but hopefully we will get to hopefully soon. And I know for sure we've been a part of the jazz cruises for all these years, and that's been a
yeah.
blessing.
And how,
Um,
how many years has that been, man? It's been like,
I think we started,
oh
I
my
think
God.
it was 2007.
Wow.
Yeah,
Almost 20 over 20 years.
yeah, yeah.
Man,
It's
I
been
think
quite
I
a
might
long.
have been there before you, though. Did I start like a couple years before you?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me that. I thought we started
The same time?
together.
Okay.
I remember the band because it was me, you, Dwight Sills on guitar, and Rayford Griffin
Rayford
on
Griffin
drums.
on drums. That's right.
Yeah, because I think we came. I thought, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. We came in when they were needing another band. They added um,
Right.
another
Right.
band, and
Right.
we ended up being that band.
And
Mm,
that's a testament too. I mean, I just feel fortunate just to be in the room with you guys. But if you think about all the acts we've played with, I mean,
yes,
that's a whole nother lesson in a study in organization and mental toughness, man. Because
yes,
it's a lot of work, man. And we've seen over the years how some guys have come on there thinking they can do it, and it's not so easy, you
correct.
know.
Correct. I was going to say, well, especially that takes me back when I was, and I still teach and do master classes, but when I was at the college, Cedar Valley College, one of the colleges I used to teach
Hmm.
at here, but I used to tell the students is like that, what we're talking about right now, the work that we do on the jazz cruise, that would definitely be one of the opportunities where you just have to show yourself for taking care of business.
Yeah.
And it's very quick because if you lack it in any of those instances, you're
Hmm.
not gonna be around very quick. It's gonna turn out bad.
It will
Um,
turn out bad.
so I would always just encourage them is like, have your stuff together and and do what you say you're gonna do. If you're gonna learn music and come prepared, be ready, and the type of person that you are. Because like you said, I think the amount of work and shows that we've done all through these years. What I think about you all is there's just such a now we have such a trust and just synergy between the three of us. Now I'm saying the three of us because through the years now it's me, you, and Jay Williams
Yes, Jay
um have
Williams.
been
Yeah,
doing it.
Jay is
Of
great.
course, uh-huh.
Jay is
Yeah,
great.
Jay, yeah, yeah. And so, we Jay the drummer, have done it for a lot of years, but there's a trust there that we just know everybody's gonna take care of business, and then we show up. We have a synergy where I just always feel like we're gonna be together. Like whatever, like you said, all kinds of stuff can happen on stage or whatever. But it's like we have this kind of unspoken thing. Like we know we're gonna be together and make it work. I don't know if I'm describing it well,
Oh,
but
you're describing it
um,
just right because a lot of things come flying out of nowhere. You know, a lot of things, no matter how much you even prepare, you know, because you know the cruises you get charged ahead of time, and you know sometimes they're not what they should be, and you have to the moment's notice you got to fix it and you got to work it out and you got to make it right. So
yeah,
it's a lesson in preparedness and organization and really just you know doing your due diligence and trying to be as prepared as possible. You know, that's
yeah,
a lesson for kids. You know, so a lot of guys come in there, they think that they don't they're tearing the music open as soon as they walk in for rehearsal. The day of rehearsal, it's like no, it doesn't work that
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, people. That's why I said that's one of the things that we've done, and it's very popular all over the world, and it's been, like you said, we've almost been doing it 20 years. It's something that's been very consistent, for all of us a lot, and even for me, it stemmed a lot of other work just from doing that,
Yes.
the jazz cruise. But yeah, to me, that's the one thing that kind of, being a professional in the music business, that yes, it's, I don't know how else to say it. Everybody may not be able to do it just because there are so many, all the aspects of what you need to be in a professional, your character as a person, your
Hmm.
preparedness, of course, just being able to play and all of that. But I tell people, like young people, I say, this level, when we're talking about, who's going to get the gig, if we're talking about two or three people, everybody can play, and we're not even discussing people that can't play. So it's
Right.
beyond the level of can you play or not. It's
Right.
past that. It's all the other things that you're
Hmm.
speaking of just, you're not gonna miss flights. You're gonna show up and be ready that, we're referring to this, but there's so much amount of music that we're gonna play in the course of the jazz cruise, that you just have to be prepared and be ready for it when it comes to the rehearsals and everything. And it's not a lot of rehearsal. We may play everything sometimes one time or rehearse it one time, and then
Hmm.
you ready to go. So to me, it teaches, that, I guess, yeah, if you're a young person trying to get the business, you got to be on top of all aspects of your life and career to be able to do that type of,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
yeah. So for me, it's been great doing it with you all, because like I said, it has become, we just got a thing, I guess. We got a thing. It, we stick together and it works. So it's been a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah. You helped me a lot when I saw some on the chart. I said, what is this, Arlington? You see me running to you. I'm like, what is this? What is this
That
triple coda? What is that, man?
like when you
I've
go
never
back
seen
this time and you go back again and then you jump
it.
in.
What is it?
But
What is he doing? That's not he's not playing that the principal. He's going somewhere else. So we got to figure out where he's going, the
yeah,
principal, and follow him. You know, it's not like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, yeah, we've always just had such a good, um, camaraderie and been able to discuss. And yeah, like I said, that's why I call it, we stick together and we're just able to
hmm.
make it work. And so
Yeah.
for me, that's always been a joy.
Hey, and thank you for helping all of us, and especially on our band. You help us um, stay in the room. You know, you help us. We all help each other. You know, and I think I just think it's an honor to have been on those cruises for that long. You know.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. It's
Yeah.
been, you know, they don't call it the greatest party at sea for nothing.
Woo! Yes,
It
indeed,
definitely,
man.
I personally feel like it really is. But
It
yeah,
really
but
is.
it also comes from, yeah, being able to work with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. No, thank you, man.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, man. I don't want your wife mad at me, and I don't want to keep you past my overdue where you'll never talk to me. All this good stuff that we've been saying to each other, and be like, man, I'm tired of Arlington. That's it. We done.
I'll never get tired of
So no,
Arlington.
no,
Never,
but I
ever.
appreciate you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. And we'll be seeing each other soon, right?
Yes, looking forward to it. Looking
All
forward
right.
to it. All right. Thank you, man. All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you. All right. Bye bye.